I call on the representative of Morocco.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, President. As my Algeria colleague has just taken the floor, I would like to say it's not with joy that I'm taking the floor to respond to him. Indeed, the tradition shows that it has always been the case that Morocco never uses its right of reply following the statement from Algeria, but it responds to what they have subsequently said here. President, my Algerian colleague expressed condolences and solidarity from his country. I would really wanted to, colleague, that the times that Morocco is going through, the mourning of our families, the deaths, the thousands of deaths and casualties, the destruction, would have meant that they kept silent to respect the moment. And as you say, to express solidarity. We can't shed crocodile tears and at the same time attack a country that is still going through a tragedy. You show your solidarity, your support, but at the same time, you are injecting your poison, insulting the dead and Moroccans. You have been repeating this for 50 years. 50 years you've been saying that you are a neutral party to this, that you're not a party to this. So it's been 50 years that you have claimed to defend a principle. But who are you, Algeria? Who are you, ambassador, if you're not party to this? Who then encouraged you to take the floor if you're not a party to this? We've heard this afternoon several delegations used their right of reply. But these are delegations who have direct disputes. So why did Algeria take the floor? Because they're neutral? Because they're not a party to this? Because they're simply defending a principle? Because they defend a referendum? But you are carrying out a major distortion of history. You are ignoring what the United Nations has done. You speak about a referendum and resolutions from the Security Council. You forgot that the Security Council for 23 years hasn't spoken about a referendum for almost 23 years now. The principle of self-determination. But it's like you're a lawyer who keeps trying to defend laws and principles but violates them at the same time. If you were so committed to law, if you were so committed to law and it is so part of your history and DNA, then why don't you apply it at home? Those are people who existed before the state in Algeria who claim their right, have been claiming their rights for decades, the Kapi people. You refuse to give them that. You refuse to. You talk about the Sahrawi people, so why are you closing the camps? Why are you not opening them to us? Why are you preventing the HCR to carry out a registration of people there if you are not a party to this? You see, colleagues, in reacting, you're doing the opposite of what you're trying to do because everyone in the room is then asking, why is Algeria doing this if they're not a party to this? Why Algeria? Why have they sent a note to the Secretary General to denounce a resolution? No country, a member of the UN, has sent a resolution on the question of Sahara to denounce it. And no country send letters to denounce a resolution that don't pertain to them directly. Why are you refusing to participate in the round tables, which is referred to in Security Council resolutions? It's you, Algeria. because you are party. The Security Council, you don't want to listen to the Security Council. You're choosing the resolutions of the Security Council that you want, that you like, and you leave the others. You forget the others. You talk about partition. I have a letter here from your former colleague, Mr. Bali. 22 July 2022, where he says Algeria remains ready to consider a proposal concerning a possible partition of the Sahara territory between the Sahrawi people and the Kingdom of Morocco. The response from Morocco was on the same day, no, never. No partition with anyone. No, never any division of our people of Morocco, of their region in the south. You are distorting history and you want to prevent yourself as someone with no direct interest, but you are concerned, you're responsible. If the problem in Sahara continues 50 years later, it's because of you. And you continue to claim that you're not responsible. It's nothing to do with you. It's the United Nations. But the United Nations says to you, come to these round tables. So why don't you come? The UN adopts resolutions and you reject them. You talk about GA resolutions, the most recent ones for decades, but you don't talk about a referendum. You're trying to dupe and lie to the GA, to lie to the international community, like you lied to the people that you forcibly transported into the Tindouf camps to wave independence in front of their face, to create an entity, a ghost entity that only depends on your security services. That's Algeria. The Algeria that extends its condolences and expresses its solidarity. But at the same time, it's Algeria that wishes to undermine Moroccan unity. It's Algeria that for 50 years has only armed, funded, led a separatist movement. Armed groups which also have connections with international terrorism. I would have wished a bit more decency from my Algerian brother, a bit more respect. If only for the people and the victims of the recent earthquakes, if only for those who've lost lives for their independence. But you have a short memory. There are no principles of good neighborliness in Algeria, nor respect, nor the principle of peaceful resolution of disputes, nor the bravery to shoulder your acts, your policies, and your destructive, destabilizing agenda in the region. Look around you. What's happening? Destabilization, total destabilization. Instability. The only border that is stable is in Morocco. The only stable country, Morocco. The cities that you talk about, that you and you claim that Sahara is a paradise, a better paradise than the cities in Algeria where people queue for wheat, for bananas, for milk, for flour. That's what Algeria is, that spends billions of dollars to arm a separatist group, but starves its people. Read the report of the expert on the freedom of assembly that just published its report a week after its their visit to Algeria, where the limits on the freedom of movement are described. There's imprisonment, fallacious accusations against Iraq militants. That's Algeria. That's the liberty, the freedom that you talk about, and the self-determination that you talk about. You let your own people enjoy self-determination before you call for it for other people. Morocco is in its Sahara, and we will stay here to the end of time. Look at Sahara and the progress and development that's there. We are building. We are consolidating the rule of law. We're allowing all Sahrawis, even those who are in your country now, they manage regions. The former Polisario, they manage regions, they process resources, they participate in economic, political, cultural life of the region. I hope, dear colleagues, that the next time when you open your mouth to speak about Morocco, you will think before doing so. Carefully. Because simply you've undermined the...
Of Morocco, please.
Je termine.
I'll conclude. Thank you. I've concluded. I could have stayed another hour or two, but I'll stop there. Thank you, President.